Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Red Dead Weapons, and today we're going to be doing a shotgun that is known throughout the world and by Americans very well and despised by most Germans. Model 1897 trench shotgun, aka the trench sweeper. Now anyway, a little history about this gun. It was done in 1897 by John Moses Browning. It came in a 12 gauge caliber 12 gauge and a 16 gauge caliber. Its effective firing range was about 22 yards. It originally used paper shells, but during like World War I and Filipino-American War, they switched to like brass or cartridge, a brass cartridge for the slugs because it's wet, it's moist, it doesn't do well with paper, and it fucks with the ammo. Now, the gun in the game is fairly new. It's fairly just newly produced. Now, in real life, this gun could have up to like a 40-inch barrel. The one in the game is sort of short. It's not long, but you can see right here underneath the main barrel is where you could put a bayonet possibly. Like, they have that screw there, as assuming, because they were using these at the time in the military, because 1907 I'm currently in, the military's using this, so they have the trench variant already, so I'm surprised we couldn't put a bayonet on it. Now, this gun is still in present use, like it's been used in every war up to fucking NAM, and I don't know about you, but if you're using a fucking trench shotgun that's been around since fucking First World War, fucking Pancho Villa expedition and shit in Filipino-American War, and you're using that to kill some fucking rice eaters. No offense, rice eaters, I like rice. But, yeah, that gun's been... Now, Winchester stopped making them in the 50s, like 57 or 56, I think. There's about a little bit over a million of them built. I mean, there's reproductions made by Norinco. So if you're looking to get one of these, you want to buy a fucking original with the brass cover guard on top of the barrel and such, go to for Norinco. I mean, originally the gun is a tougher, stronger, more improved version of the Winchester 93, which was itself an improvement on the early Spencer pump gun. The 97 was identical to the Forerunner, apparently, mostly, but in 1897 was introduced as a takedown design where you could take the barrel off a standard, and most modern shotguns like the Remington 870 and Mossberg 500 series you can do nowadays. It was really popular. It was like one of the most popular you get. The frame was strengthened over the 93 model with the 97 model. It was strengthened and made longer to handle a 12 gauge 2 by 3/4 inch shell, as well as a 2.5 and 1/8 inch shell. What? Hey, no, dog, stop. Sorry about that, folks. Dogs bark over stupid shit. They're fucking retarded. The action could not be open until a slide forward movement. The slide handle, at least the action slide lock, which pretty much just means you're pumping the gun and alright. Let me show you all that, alright. And what I mean by action slide, I mean where it pops back and you can chamber a new shell, like right here. And you can see that is a slug, I think I have in that thing. I did not check. It also has a slide lock which stands in as relation to the body of the firing pin, which will prevent the firing pin from reaching the primer until the pin is moved forward a sufficient distance to ensure locking of the breech bolt. This is mainly to prevent the action sleeve from being retracted by the hand of the gun until after firing, hence rendering the firearm more safe. Now, the 97 and 93 shotgun were both designed by John Moses Brown, who was a legendary gun designer, and if you don't know who that is, look him up. You will be interested because he made everything the military has fucking used at one point to extent. 97 actually is an external hammer shotgun, meaning it lacks a trigger disconnector. Now, it'll give you a different trigger pull, I guess. This means pretty much you can hold the trigger down while cycling the shotgun. So pretty much you can fucking hold the trigger down and fucking slam back the pump action on, and just fucking rapid fire that motherfucker. So in terms of legal aspects of the firearm, the gun itself is considered a slide action pump action shotgun, and it is the first truly successful pump action shotgun. Now, if you're a gun nut like I am, you know that. Now, the 16 gauge guns had a stereo barrel length of 20 inches, while the 12 gauge ones, non-military wise, were furnished with 30-inch barrels. So meaning it would probably be about here where that barrel would be, at like the middle of that cactus right there, if you can get what I'm gauging at right there. Now, along with the various grades and barrel lengths, the gun itself had two different chambers, like I said, 12 gauge and 16 gauge. The shells could be 2 3/4 or 2 5/8 inch model. Any shells larger are not recommended because fuck up your gun. Average model is 97, can hold 6 shotgun shells, 6 shells. Alright, but when you're doing working the action on it, the foregrip is pulled back, of course, forcing the breech bolt to enter the rear, which extracts and ejects the shells, which is common with most shotguns nowadays. Now, the company that reproduces this shit is China. Chinese company called Norinco, and Norinco, I wouldn't recommend buying from a China company, because yeah, it may not be a good idea. Sure, they can mass produce the shit, but one, the gun's not going to be in the original fit and finish of the original 97 classics, but they do make them in the trench and riot grades. Now, the trench grade had a cover guard over the barrel so the shooter wouldn't burn his hand up, because if you're going through a damn trench or cleaning out a Moro, or not a Moro rebellion, yeah, Moro rebellion, yeah, you're cleaning out a Moro fucking village, and those fuckers are running at you with fucking cloth wrapped around them and hopped up on mushrooms, yelling fucking Allahu Akbar shit, trying to kill you while getting shot as many times as you can. Having a shotgun that won't fucking burn yourself while you're fucking mass murdering the fuckers will save your ass. Now, the standard grades of these guns is 12 and 16, trap 12, 16, mainly for the gauges, is 12. Though the tournament model was only a 12 gauge, and the riot and the trench were only 12 gauge. Now, the barrel length for the trench and riot versions are 20 inches, which is pretty much what we sort of have with the one in the game. So I think we're going for that kind of model, but they didn't include the brass cover guard. Remarks, it had a plain walnut stock and such. The riot ones had a plain walnut solid or takedown frame, same as the riot gun, but with a heat shield, bayonet lug, and swing. So yeah, this is the trench gun, but it's lacking a heat shield, which is what I was trying to say, and the bayonet lug. But you can't see where it would possibly fitted to have a bayonet lug. Now, the gun in the game is about $700, $300. If you have a certain version of the game, you get it for free. But the original cost for a plain finish shotgun was $25, whereas if you got an engraved receiver, checker, finer wood, that would probably cost you about $100. $100 back then is about a couple grand. Folks, nowadays it's about $300. I'm assuming. I'm not a mathematical person. Less expensive ones were the brush takedown, riot, and trench. So, if you went back in time in 1897, you could buy a trench model of this with the heat guard and bayonet lug and all that fancy shit for $25. And those were the ones you wanted because they were built for higher fucking abuse. So, yeah. A little funny fact. Apparently these were sold to German catalogs comparable to the luxury double-barreled shotguns the Germans used. So I'm imagining now, there was a Kraut boy in a trench who came across an American with a trench shotgun. He was like, "Oh, hey, a hunting gun. You hunting duck?" And the American probably yelled something. And it's probably a fucking jarhead that did it, because jarheads mainly used them. Probably yelled, "Fuck you," and shot the German with his own bird gun. I can imagine it now. Imagine it. jarhead with a gas mask running through a trench with a fucking 12 gauge shotgun with a bayonet on it, blasting Metallica and shooting Krauts. God bless America. Military use, first issued, as I said, in the Filipino-American War. It was also used to stop the Morotrasmen who engaged in Germantado, which is suicide combat with swords and knives. It was also used in the punitive expedition to Mexico to stop Pancho Villa. This model, the trench model, was close for ideal combat. And the round of this ammo was actually contained in 9 double-aught buckshot, which is .33 caliber buckshot pellets. It gave considerable firepower and was really good for trench warfare, which is why it's really despised by Germans, because they thought it was a war crime. But gassing people is also a war crime, Germany. Like, shit. You gassed everyone in World War I, you gassed everyone in World War II. Like, shit. You also gassed my fucking relatives, you fucking cunts. There's also a myth or legend that the American soldiers who were skilled at trap shooting, which is where you shoot the clay pigeons and shit, were used to fire enemy hand grenades in midair, but I kinda call bullshit because it's a fucking hand grenade. If you shoot that in midair, it's gonna send shrapnel everywhere. Also, the Model 97 for the military had fired each time. There's a couple of, yeah, trigger connector, I said all that. They also made an updated version of this gun called the Model 1912. So, yeah. Now, the first game right there, this gun is historically looking accurate because it's got a long-ass barrel and such. And actually Rex. For those who wonder if there was any other uses, they were used as by messengers of the American Express Company, who were armed with various police departments throughout the U.S. with these guns. People that mainly use these, there's only 4 main countries: it's the Philippines, the U.S., Iran, and South Korea. Now, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know I haven't uploaded in a while because I've been busy with shit, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed this quick informative video on the Model 1897 trench shotgun. Now, next one I'm going to be doing is the Model 1887 Winchester lever action repeating shotgun, which is chambered in a 10 gauge. Now, for a little info on that one, that's the reason it didn't succeed is because, one, it would shoot back in your face with the cartridge ejector, and pump action design over lever action for a shotgun, I'd take a pump, because not only is that gun a tail engage, you can take an elephant out with it, it's probably going to blow up your hand, because those guns are kind of shit. But anyway, thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all had a good day. Stay safe out there. Don't get the corona. And slap a rider. Peace.